Hi, welcome to the Accidental Homeschooler. This whole week we're talking about sex. And today I thought, let's have a conversation about pornography. And strangely enough, I was talking to someone this morning about it who believes that it's beneficial. And of course, my first question is to whom? And so to the viewer, right? To which there is enough scientific evidence to refute that. I'm not going to go into the particulars. If you want the particulars, tune into my radio show. And I'm planning to have a guest on to speak about that also. But the scientific studies they've done have shown that porn affects the brain much like a hard drug, like cocaine. And is equally as addictive. So, but you're saying, but I'm not putting anything bad into my body, so what's the risk? The risk is that you get distracted from real life, from your life, and you get distracted into doing things that are not actively beneficial to you and people around you. The risk is that you get distracted from your spouse. So those things, so that's part of the risk. The other risk to the individual watching porn is his or her relationships. And so, for instance, if you're not married yet, what could be the harm? Well, if you're a young man and you're watching porn, what's happening in your brain is you're getting an unrealistic image of women and what women are capable of. Everything about women. You're getting an unrealistic image. That's why porn viewers report a higher rate of erectile dysfunction and premature ejaculation and a host of issues, right? Is because the pornography messes with their heads. They typically, at a certain point, will begin to choose porn over an actual intimate relationship. So there's that, which isn't good. Then there's the, and by the way, for women, it's somehow it's slightly less. Women don't have the sex drive that men have typically, and so it's a different equation, but it can be just as damaging for women. It's just not as frequently seen as for men. Then there's the other side of the porn industry, which is inside the porn industry. And you say, but those people are just exercising their free will. Well, no, not exactly. So porn is intricately involved with human trafficking. And there is a fantastic documentary that I highly recommend called Traffic Control, that covers basically the porn industry. The gal who produced it is a former porn star who has now devoted her time to trying to save women from the porn industry. And in the movie, there's a young man who, well, I suppose he's older at the time of the interviews, was one of the biggest male porn stars. And he used to bring drugs to the set because the girls had to get high in order to perform the pornographic acts that they were doing for the camera. So when you talk about, oh, they're just expressing themselves, freedom of speech, and why would you have a problem with that? I have a problem with it if my understanding becomes that these people are not doing it for fun. They're doing it because they're trapped. There's a lot of abuse in the porn industry. There's a lot of that sort of human trafficking element that is applied to these young women, particularly the young women, because the sex act for a woman is completely different than the experience is for a man. So you cannot say unequivocally, who's it hurting? It's hurting any number of people. And then if you take it out onto the broader level, for our kids, So I was looking up COVID numbers, and there's a website called, I think it's called World of Numbers, or World of Numbers, I think. And I went to go on the website, and I clicked, and all of these ads started popping up. And I figured out, because there was no X to click out of the ads, I figured out I could just click back and back and back, and it would get rid of the ad that was in front of me. And I click, back, and it clicked over. It was very fast because I had double clicked, or I'd clicked over and over. A pornographic image just flashed on my screen and then was gone because I'd already clicked back again. And I'm like, that's crazy that comes up on my screen with no warning, with no intent on my part. And by the way, when I clicked back, I got to the World of Meters website. There are nefarious elements on the internet that seek to grab your children. Why? Well, we talked earlier about this idea that if a young man can exert control over his libido, that's really, in a sense, what a final step to him becoming fully adult. How would you prevent that from happening? Enslave him to his libido earlier than he even dares to dream. Make him a slave to his libido so that he never can grow, so that he struggles to grow out of it. Not never. There are plenty of men who have struggled with porn and have figured out, through either help or without help, have figured out how to survive without it and to get it out of their lives. And then finally, I would say you need to like parent up and have controls on your computers or the smartphones that your kids have in their hands or something. And you need to have the conversation with them, because they will be at friends' houses and the friends will show them things. You need to have those conversations with them to galvanize them. And part of the way that we galvanize our children is we tell them how clever they are and how much we rely on their good judgment, that we know that they won't be going to websites that are ill-advised. They won't be doing things that are not advisable, because that's how smart they are. So pornography is pervasive. It's pernicious. And that's enough P words right there. You need to have that conversation with your children, and likely need to have it multiple times. So multiple times. Give that some thought. I'd love to hear your comments on this. I know this is it's a weirdly difficult topic. It shouldn't be. We really should be this should be one of the topics that we focus on, because it's so prevalent in our schools. And more on that in my next video. So tune in again tomorrow. Thanks for listening. I'm Sam Sorbo.